Alright, I have been listening to this BGM of the Hive for like 10 seconds and I'm already sick of it. But it is the Hive, and we're just gonna have to deal with it. But this is gonna be ranking every single platform in the Hive, one of the smallest areas in the entire game. In fact, actually, I guess normally, in the overworld, this is the smallest area, you know, outside of like Godhome. In fact, it's so small, it's the only map so far, and I think will be the only map ever, to actually fit on the entirety of our canvas. Usually, you know, I kind of showcase like, oh, this is how big, like, I zoom out and I showcase like, this is how big the map is. The entire map fits on our canvas, and so it's like, wow, that's really nice, actually. Yeah, this is going to be very short, but we're going to go ahead and rank every single one of these platforms. And as per usual, we're gonna go ahead and start off with, you know, where most people would enter this place from. The normal entrance all the way over here. Immediately upon entering the area, you know, obviously you have some little bees, I suppose. I actually don't know their names. And you have a breakable wall. And you see a couple of enemies, and there are no platforms in this room, but it does introduce you to a couple of new things. You know, obviously a couple of enemies, some new environments, and then we have a couple of platforms. Believe it or not, these platforms are not that great. And I know it's like the first platforms, and most first platforms of any area are usually like, ah, yeah, this is how it's gonna work, you know, like this is what this area is about. These platforms right here don't really do that. Because this is the first area of the room, and really all it does is introduce you to new enemies and new environments. These platforms really don't do a whole lot. So in my opinion, even as a casual, these platforms are just kind of whatever. This might be the lowest introductory platforms we will ever have. These will get 4s. I'll actually give this one a 4.5, mainly because I actually kind of like this platform. Well, I suppose it's nice because you can't actually reach this wall right here without double jump, and it does provide a little bit of nice like movement here and there, so I'm not opposed to it. It's just kind of there. But these other two platforms, we already kind of get the gist of this area, so only a 4. To the left, I believe there is our bench that you need to break, but there's nothing else going on here, so we're going to end up having to go to the right. And in the right is the large rooms. You know, we have this big room, we also have a secondary big room, I think over there. But yeah, now we are actually going to get into the platforming, the very meat and bones of this area. To start us off, we have our first platform here, and it also has a tree, or I guess a essence tree on it. So in my opinion, this actually tells you like, oh, this is a nice area then. This one, in my opinion, will get a 7. No, it has the tree, gives you essence. It also provides you a nice little open area to kind of get a good layout of the room. I think most of these platforms, though, they'll probably just get a 5 just for, you know, simplicity's sake. And, well, there's not really much going on. This one probably gets a 4.5 because there's nothing up in this like corner, so not as great. However, this is going to be where we encounter our first unique platform. This platform right here is a special type of platform. It's different from all the other platforms in the entire game because it's one that breaks. Now, unfortunately, there is no enemy in this room that actually can break it. So immediately upon entering this area and you see this one, you might notice it's different, and you think, what could this platform be about? And because of its like hinting towards what it could be, I actually want to give this one like a 7. This is very, very interesting. Because it's a very unique platform, it's supposed to hint towards a later, you know, mechanic that you'll find in the next room. It's pretty good. And there's actually one more platform here I want to point out specifically. This platform here, I'm actually going to give a 6. And you might be thinking that's a little bit weird, but again, everything has to have my reason. I like this platform as a speedrunner. The main reason is because it's actually pretty fast to go that way. It's not very common that speedrunners will go into the Hive, other than, you know, Hive Night or, I don't know, if you need Hive Blood or something. But here's the thing. Speedrunners will go this way, and then we'll actually just go this way. To go this way. So we basically just climb up that way instead of trying to go something like this, which might seem a little bit faster, but it's not really that much faster. Because once you get all the way up here, you can go ahead and crystal dash or something. So it's just kind of like, it's a very easy method of kind of going around all the enemies. And that's kind of true in the other rooms as well. So this one I'm going to give a 6. That one's going to get a 7. All the other ones are just kind of normal platforms, I suppose. And then we have the last platform in this room. This one has a geodeposit. It also has this guy. I don't remember what this enemy is called. However, I kind of like this platform. Not necessarily that it's really amazing for any specific purpose, but it's just kind of a nice platform, I suppose. So in my opinion, I'm going to give this one a 5.5. It has a Geo Rock, but it also kind of provides some challenge, because this little bee, and this little bee spawner, they're there to annoy you, really. So it's just kind of nice, I suppose. And then the big room. This is the big room. I guess you technically have another big room up there, and a wide room, I suppose, over there. But this is the big room of this area. And you'll notice there's a lot of enemies in here. And this is where I was kind of referring in the previous room about climbing up the right side of the wall to go this way. That is the most efficient way to get, through this room without as much danger. Granted, there is still a lot of danger to be had, especially because of these giant bees. I don't remember what they're called. This is a Hive Guardian. Okay, they're all called Hive somethings. This guy is called a Hive Guardian, Hive Soldier, and a Hiveling. Here is the main issue, though. He is pretty close to the wall. And he's a very, very mean introduction to this area, because the moment you go out this way and you see this guy, he's going to start charging at you with full force. And he deals 2 massive damage, which is always very, very scary in any scenario of Hollow Knight. And so here's the thing. You quickly find out these platforms are breakable by those Hive Guardians. And in my opinion, that makes it very unique. So these ones are special, however, not all of them are as special as others. So I'll kind of go around explaining each one. For the most part, all of these kind of get like a 5-ish. I think this one gets a 5. This one gets a 5. I actually want to give this one a 5.5. Because, believe it or not, this right here is kind of your safe haven. This little box, I guess more generally put, is a very nice place to hide. Because, again, these guys are large. They can't really fit very easily in this little space. So if you are, like, right here, you're, like, wall jumping, you can just quickly move out of the way. Most likely, you'll just end up hitting this corner and will bounce back up. Even the Hive soldiers, right? If you're hiding in this area, then you can either run in here, or you can just kind of jump out of the way. So in my opinion, that one gets a 5.5. This one probably gets a 5. Not bad. It's probably going to be a difficult one to break from the Hive Guardians, because we have 3 different platforms kind of blocking it. It's most likely this platform that gets broken the fastest, or the first one that gets broken. Because, well, this guy's going to be bouncing around in who knows where. And if you jump this way, then this guy's in a direct line of sight. Or if you go the other way, you go this way, or in some kind of combination, then this guy is already going to be charging at you quickly anyways. So this is probably the first one that's going to be broken. It's also going to be the first one that teaches you about these breakable platforms. So in my opinion, this one will also get a 7. Not necessarily because it serves a whole lot of great purpose, but because it's so unique. And that's really about it. Yeah, all the other ones, kind of okay. This one, this one is kind of a troll. I want to give this one a 4.5. And, man, I'm going to have to explain quite a bit for this one. This one gets a 4.5 because that's where it meets in the middle. As a casual, I want to give this one like a 3. And the reason being is because we have a Hive Soldier, we have 2 little Hivelings, and realistically speaking, this guy is probably close by somewhere around this area to break that platform. So as a casual, this platform might as well not even be here, because once you get there, it's a trap. it's gonna be really hard to get out of there. And I want to give it a 3 because of that, but as a speedrunner, this is actually one of the better platforms in this room. To explain why, as I mentioned before, the fastest way is to climb up this way, go this way, and then go this way. And immediately you can kind of tell, like, oh, for a speedrunner, that platform's important because we need it. There is no easy way to go from here onto this platform without getting hit, because you have 2 Hivelings and the Hive Soldier. So in my opinion, as a speedrunner, this platform should get like at least a 6, because it's very helpful. Only issue is, again, it breaks, and as a casual, it's not that important. It's just kind of there. So a 4.5, I'm just going to meet in the middle and say 4.5. I hope you can take that. The other ones are kind of okay. Not much else to talk about in there. And then to the left is a secret exit. And I guess a secret entrance, I suppose. And we have one platform here. This platform doesn't really serve a whole lot of purpose. It does fill up the empty space, which is always nice. But it doesn't really serve a whole lot of purpose. So in my opinion, this one gets a 4.5. It's there for aesthetic purposes and nothing really else. Man, this place is tiny, now that I'm actually thinking about it. I mean, I know that this is a DLC area. I believe this came with the Grim Troop. But, man, this place is small. We're already over halfway done. And I have spent not even 20 minutes recording. This is going to be the shortest area yet. My goodness, I'm so thankful. But after that large room, we have a slightly smaller room. This is more of an arena. And now this is where you might run into some issues. Even as a speedrunner, this place can be very difficult because, well, first and foremost, we have a breakable platform here. You might see that as a safe haven, especially if you're casual. You might not quickly notice that this is a breakable one. And this Hive Guardian will destroy it. This one, in my opinion, will probably get like a 4. Doesn't really serve that much purpose, especially because you're backed up into a corner. But I mean, it does teach you about, you have to get better placement. The other ones are also kind of okay. This place is low-key kind of an arena. You want to fight this guy, you want to fight this guy, and the other 2 Hivelings, well, they don't really matter. You can kill them in 3 hits, even with the weakest nail. But, they're all just kind of okay. I do want to give this one a 6. Specifically because it is the central area. You can easily dodge both enemies just by jumping around or dashing. So if your goal is to, fight these 2 enemies, this is probably your favorite platform, if not right underneath it, because it is your safe haven. The other ones, this one probably gets a 4. Not really much going on here. It's just kind of there. Again, you're backed up into a corner, never a good place to be in Hollow Knight. And then this one, probably, I'm actually going to give this one a 5.5. The main reason is because, obviously, the Hive Guardian cannot go through this little hole here because he's too big. And the Hive Soldier, he can kind of slip through, but it's pretty difficult because they are programmed to stay a certain distance away from the Knight. So as long as you are at least here, I think the Hive Soldier can only be about this far away from you. So it's like, you can be here pretty safely. And then this one, again, it breaks up into a corner. What this platform does break, probably a pure 5 as well. Doesn't really serve that much of a purpose, but it's nice, I suppose. Yeah. And then on to the final room of the Hive. Well, second to final room. This is actually one of the more frustrating rooms, in my opinion. Obviously, there's no platforms in this, I guess, area that we can talk about. But it's this area that's actually more important to me. Because there are 2 Hive Guardians, 2 Hive Sentries, or Hive Soldiers, and there is also this breakable wall here that you have to lure a Hive Guardian to break, which gives you access to a mask fragment, which is always good. Here is the main issue, though. This one right here, I'll get to this one, and this one, these are both breakable platforms, and as a casual, it actually is supremely annoying. But as a speedrunner, they have their own different purposes. So I'm just going to go ahead and explain. This one gets a 5.5. This is your first platform in this room. It teaches you want to get good at going back and forth between here, because if those Hive Guardians ever catch you off guard, you're taking 2 massive damage, no questions asked, you just get hit. And I hate it. This platform here probably gets a 4.5 because it is small and evasive, maneuvers are very important in this room because there's a lot of stuff going on. This is probably the most neutral of the platforms in this room. It just gets a 5 to me. It's not that amazing. It's not that bad either. It just gets a pure 5. This one, however, is where things can get a little bit annoying. However, even for casuals, you probably can recognize this platform is going to break eventually, so don't trust it very much. In my opinion, this will probably just get a 4.5. Not a bad platform, but not a good one either. It's this platform that actually is one of the most annoying ones. And I'll explain. As a casual, this platform right here, it's a little hard to see, but this platform here is breakable. It doesn't really do that much because, it does break and eventually you will have to just, go around. You either go up here with double jump or you have to make your way all the way out here. And if you don't have double jump, you might have to just jump dash to there if you can. So as a casual, it's just kind of a normal platform. It might be a 5 or a 4. As a speedrunner, this is a very, very frustrating platform. And the main reason is because for speedrunners, and I've had to do this a couple of times, it's not very often that I had to come in this room at all, but the fastest way to go in this, the fastest way to maneuver in this room is to be here, use the crystal dash as far as you can up until here, and then you have to kind of go here. Here is the main issue though. These enemies will follow you. Okay? Sometimes this guy and this guy. Which means at any point in time from here to here, if you get hit mid-dash or mid-double jump, you will fall. And it's not fun. And this platform is meant to save you. Like, this platform is like your last saving grace. If you fall on this platform, you can quickly dash over here. And you're good because of iframes. However, if they catch your dash, or if you don't land on this platform, or the Hive Guardian breaks this platform, you have to do an annoying trek of, I hope that I can do this if you have double jump. And more often than not, in a speedrun, at least most of the speedruns that I've done in this room, you don't have double jump. Like, I'll be completely honest. What is it? Hive blood percent. I think it was Pantheon 5 boss order. And I think Mr. Mushroom and no, not Mr. Mushroom ending. Some other speedruns where you have to go in this area. Sometimes you don't have a double jump, and it becomes extremely annoying. So in my speedrunning opinion, I'm giving this one a 3.5 out of frustration. It is terrible. And as a casual, you might say, I give it a 5. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay as a casual to give this one a 5. But as a speedrunner who's done, challenge runs where you need this platform to be there and not break, this is a 3.5 in my opinion. I think one of the speedruns that I had to do where I came into this room was, I think it was MILF percent for Mother's Day. Because, well, Queen Vespa is right here, and Queen Vespa is obviously the mother of all the bees. So, yeah, I definitely did not have double jump here. So it's very annoying. But moving on, we have our last room, and some people might forget, there are platforms in this room. It's just down here. And I'll be completely honest. One of these platforms is significantly better than the other. And I hope you can tell which one. If you guessed the left platform was better, then you're right. Once you beat Hive Knight and you fall down here, there's only one reason you go here, and that's for Hive Blood right here. Issue is, we have a platform here, and we have a platform here. Not only are they at different heights, which feels a little bit weird, but they're both actually above, these surfaces on either side, which means you can't just crystal dash from one end to the other end, which is always annoying. Here's the issue though. This platform is a good platform. It's pretty big. It's whatever. I think this probably gets a 5. However, there's this platform. And if in case you haven't noticed it already, this platform is a breakable platform. But there's nothing in here to break said platform. You can't break the platform. There is no Hive Guardian to break this platform. Why did they do it? Other than for aesthetic purposes. And even considering aesthetic purposes, you know, it's like, oh, we just want to have like a nice, like little thing, like we did in one of the first rooms down here, where this platform was breakable, but there's nothing there to break it. Oh, we get that by now. At this point, we should know that this is a breakable platform, but there's nothing here to break it. So there's no point in making it breakable. I'm gonna give this one a 3. Obviously, you don't need it to, you know, get to the other side, because you can just pogo. Like, that's not even an issue. If anything, neither of these platforms are necessary. You can just pogo your whole way through. But, again, what's the purpose? Why did you make it breakable if there's no way to break it? So, in my opinion, this one gets a 3. Here is the fun part. We're done. This is all of the Hive. It is the smallest area in the entire game. It's the only area that fits on the canvas. And, if anything, I'm actually really glad, because my voice has been hurting recently at the time of recording this. But it's still a pretty nice area. This is a pretty fun area. It's got a couple of great enemies. It's got a nice boss fight. There is also a modded boss fight of the Hive Knight that is also really fun. It's called Buzzbow. I've seen a lot of people beat it recently. I've also beaten it myself. I beat it with only using charms, so no nail, no spells. Hint, hint, you should go watch that and check it out. It's actually pretty fun, even if it took me like 10 hours. But this is a nice place. The only thing that I could really say I don't like about this place is the freaking BGM. It's so annoying. Like, even as I'm talking right now, the constant buzzing in my head is so annoying. But the boss fight music is really nice. The Hive Knight OST it's great. But this was the Hive. Smallest area, shortest time, but it is its own unique place. So, it's good. I like it. Why not consider giving it a like or subscribing? I know it's, you know, there's not a whole lot. Why not check out the other platform rankings? We've had a lot of good ones. Some of them are pretty bad, some of them are pretty good. But I like this, and hopefully I can get all of these out in time before Silksong gets released. I should be able to do that at least. We only have, I think, 3 areas left. 3 or 4 areas left. We have the waterways. We have Queen's Gardens. We have the White Palace. And we have Godhome. So we have 4 total areas left, which is not bad. With that being said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or your night, depending on your availability. I will see you in the next one, whether that's a speedrun or a platform rank. Have a good night.